Welcome to the Hard Truth Podcast. This is Jeremy Fouts, and this episode is probably going to be one of my favorite, as I am not only going to give you a good training here at the end, but this is just kind of what I call a life update and an update on the podcast. And I'm just going to be real with you today and share with you some of the things in my life that where we are in the podcast, where I'm at in my life, and also where we are headed in the podcast.
Let's go. What up?
First off, I want to say thank you to all the followers, everyone that supported the Hard Truth Podcast. It's been exciting to get the feedback from different friends and different family, and I know a lot of you have reached out. Dr. Stroh has given me a lot of support, a good friend of mine. I'm actually going to have him on the podcast here sometime soon, and just tremendous amount of support here at Hard Truth Podcast. And those of you that don't know, I've been in the nutrition industry for about 20 years, and one of my favorite things to do is teach people mindset and personal development. And that was my whole reason for doing the Hard Truth Podcast is really being a way to bring value to people daily. Several times in my career, I've always did a lot of Saturday morning training calls. And I mean, for years, I would have 1,200, 1,500 people every Saturday morning tuning in to a 9 o'clock Saturday morning training call. And I watched what impact that made in people's lives. So the podcast has been something I've been wanting to do for years. And, obviously, anytime you do something new, you have that fear, you have that doubt, all those different things. So thank you for supporting, because this is something that I'm very passionate about, and are going to continue to put a lot of energy into that. And with that being said, I'm going to ask for your support. I want to encourage you, if you find value in this podcast, and trust me, I'm going to get better every time we do one. I mean, I do not think that I'm the best podcaster out there. I'm going to strive to be the best I can be every time we do one. But I really would love to have your support. This is definitely a tough industry to be able to break through all the algorithms, to be able to make as big a reach as we can. So if you don't mind, if you find value, go to my YouTube channel and follow that, subscribe to it. That helps with algorithm. Whatever platform you are using, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, subscribe to that. Leave us a review, and we are going to continue to bring value. We have actually shot right at 50 episodes right now, and we are continuing to find what information brings you the most value. That's what we're trying to do. I'm always going to be heavy on mindset, heavy on nutrition, fitness, personal development, but we're trying to let you know also that there's a lot of people from different areas that brings value to my audience. And so, one of the episodes going to be coming out here shortly. Just got through having a friend of mine from Iowa, Johnny.Utah, is his Instagram handle, and he was a undercover narcotics agent that now is a professional hunter full time. So we're going to be having him on. Just also another friend that works with NASCAR and changing tires as fast as he can. We're going to talk about all these different. We have a personal chef, or actually a professional chef, that we just got through having on, that we recorded, talking about how to cook with healthy foods and using good nutrition and making it fun. So, I said that to let you know that if you have anything that you think that would bring value even more to you, feel free to email me at jeremy@corevive.com. Give me your thoughts. What are you looking for? And we are definitely going to continue to bring the most value to the audience. So this has been a fun time for me here doing this podcast. We definitely have a lot going on in my own personal life. To give you an update on that, those that do not know me on a personal level, I've been married 28 years to my high school sweetheart. We do own a nutrition company together here in Dallas, Texas. Have a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old son. So, I get it. Life is busy. My 17-year-old son is in that recruiting phase, figuring out what college he's wanting to go play baseball at. So we're traveling. Just got back from Georgia this past weekend, going to go look at different colleges, playing in different tournaments for exposure. My 15-year-old is actually playing football, also lacrosse, also baseball this fall. So pretty much every night there's a game. Every weekend there's something going on. And then my wife, Candace, and I, we actually have reservations tonight at a Mexican restaurant. Always keep that relationship good as well for date nights and different things. So life is busy. I wouldn't have it any other way. That's something I tell everyone. You don't want to spend your life on the couch watching Netflix. So definitely, I am excited to have this in my life. But I shared that with you because so many people use that excuse of, you know what, I'm busy. And you know what, you are busy, but you got to understand to keep up with your personal fitness. You also got to keep up with your relationships, your faith, all these different things. And in this training that I'm going to share with you, I'm going to explain why. But life is good. And thank you for all the support that you have given me at the Hard Truth Podcast. And again, we would really appreciate it if you had followed the YouTube channel. All this works together. Follow me on Instagram at Jeremy Fouts Leadership. And I promise you, I'm going to do my best. I really take this job serious to give you the best information. I'm going to be doing some podcasts. I have a lot of people that's reached out to me that are own small businesses. I'm going to be sharing with you what you need to do in order to, catapult that business to a whole new level. So I'm going to try to continue to bring you value on everything. We got a lot of other episodes. We got a hunting trip planned with the family coming up. We're going to actually do an episode out in the mountains. So I'm excited about that. Taking a Major League Baseball player out there that we're going to be having him come on and share a little bit as well. So we have a lot of value that we are going to be sharing with you, and we appreciate the support and cannot wait to watch this podcast continue to grow. So with all that being said, a little update on life. And I personally have not eaten today, drinking an energy drink. Today was my recovery day. I'm trying to get down to about 185 right now before this elk hunting trip. And then after that in the fall, I'll try to put on a little bit more muscle and focus on some different fitness goals that I have personally. But thank you for the support, and stay tuned for more episodes, and email me at jeremy@corevive.com. If you have any questions, comments, or anything that I can bring more value to you, I'll be more than glad to do that. So, in the short training today, I'm going to keep this episode short. I'm just going to give you an update on everything that's going on in life and the podcast. But, I'll just share with you a little bit of nuggets today. That's something that I have worked with a lot of people over the last several weeks that are struggling with different things, and you may be one of them that's struggling with the same thing. So we got a message from a friend of mine I went to high school with a few weeks ago, and actually it's a few days ago, so sorry about that. I was getting him confused with someone else. But he said, Jeremy, I don't understand. He goes, I understand that it seems like this should be common sense as far as your personal development, your mindset. He said, I've listened to your trainings. I've listened to Goggins. I've listened to all these different ones, but still I'm not in the shape I need to be. I'm not doing the things I know I need to do. And so what can I do to help, or what can you do to help me with that? So I'm going to actually be giving him a personal call and help him with that process. But there's a lot of other questions like that that's came to me via Instagram messages, emails, Messenger on Facebook, different ones. So that's why I'm going to leave you with this short training today. And hopefully it will help you get out of that funk that maybe you are in your life. So first thing I'll say is compete as your life depends on it, because it does. I read that statement in a book probably about 20 years ago. And I'll never forget, I've always been into athletics. I've always loved pushing myself. And I was at that time in my life that I felt like, what is there more to life? Why am I not feeling fulfilled? And I had found myself in just a real comfortable situation, and I quit competing in life. And so I read that statement, compete as if your life depends on it, because it does. And it really stuck with me. And I'll never forget thinking, man, why am I being lazy? Why am I not attacking every day? Why am I not getting up earlier? Why am I not pushing myself? And it's because we forget that we have got to compete on a daily basis because life depends on it. And yes, I'm talking about life or death. Absolutely. If you don't take care of your health, you're not going to live as long. But not only the time span is important, it's the quality of your life. That's something a lot of us forget about. See, if you push yourself to go to the top of your company, you push yourself to be in the best fitness shape, you push yourself to have the best relationships, that is the quality of life that you want. And so many people get stagnant. They find themselves in a state of apathy. They find themselves just walking through life, just kind of going through life. And that's not the way it's meant to be. Here's 3 things that I worked with a lot of people recently that I find that they have issues with. Number 1 is procrastination. They'll tell themselves, I'm going to get up Monday morning. It's a new life. I am going to start Monday morning. And then something happens. Maybe a friend comes over Sunday night, or maybe a late ball game like in my life all the time where you go into extra innings. You thought you was going to be home at 9. You get home at midnight. But Monday comes and they don't do it. And then Tuesday comes and they don't do it. And then Wednesday comes and then they say they'll start Monday again, and then something else happens and you see the trend. You see the cycle. So what can we do to avoid that? First off, you have to be proactive and make a list and make a promise to you. You have to make a list of all the things you are going to do on a daily basis. And here's something that I will tell you starting off. For me, it's only about 5 things. It's my fitness, it's my daily tasks, the things I need to do in business, the time I want to spend with my boys and my wife. My dinner time is precious if we don't have a baseball game. All these, don't start with a list of 25 or 30 different things because you're going to fail in day 1 or day 2. But procrastination is something you have to be proactive and make a written list of what it is that you're going to accomplish the next day, but make a promise to you that you are going to complete that list. And once you start that, it builds momentum. And you're promising yourself that you're going to attack the day. Jim Rohn is one of my favorite people that I've listened to in personal development for years. And one of the things I was listening to on YouTube back in my 20s, he said, a lot of people say, why do you wake up so early? And he said, if you were going where I'm going, you would wake up early too. You got to get that fire and that excitement and know that procrastination is not going to beat you. It's all about you attacking the day with a go. I mean, if you think about this, athletics, the reason I love athletics, right now it's college football. Georgia and Alabama is playing this Saturday. They are working as hard as they can work, both teams, to come to the field Saturday night to see who's best. What are you doing on a weekly basis to then go measure against what you know you can do and what you did, and ask yourself, did I win or did I lose this week? Don't let procrastination ruin you or rob you what you want to accomplish in the quality of life you want. Another thing that I see people struggle with is they're comfortable in life. They're comfortable. They make just enough money. They're just happy enough. One of the hardest people for me to help as a coach, as someone trying to make an impact in someone else. I was talking this with some parents the other day, and they're like, how come our boys don't do the things that, that they know they need to do? And I was giving an example of when I was young, I knew I needed to get up to 200 pounds to play college baseball or college football. I literally would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and have a milkshake made in the refrigerator. I would drink the raw eggs the next morning. I would do all those different things. And dads and I were talking about this last night, and they're like, how come this younger generation? And I said, because they're not hungry. They're too comfortable. The same thing happens to us as adults. We make just enough money. We have just enough nice enough house. We have a nice enough car. We're able to go eat out. But dadgummit, we're not supposed to be comfortable. We're supposed to get up every morning and say, what can we do to be the greatest? What can we do to be the best? Being comfortable is going to ruin you if you don't take a control of that and say, I'm tired of being comfortable. I want to be the best. The other thing that I see a lot of people are struggling with is negative thoughts. You know, they always get this excitement when they listen to a podcast like this and say, dang it, Jeremy's right. I am comfortable. I am procrastinating. You know what? I'm going to go out and be the greatest. But then they start having these negative thoughts come in and say, what if I start this new business and it don't work? What if I put this time into the gym but I don't see any change? What if I start eating correctly and I don't see a difference? You got to get rid of the negative thoughts. You got to align yourself and get yourself in relationships with people. I mean, when I talk to, and the reason I mentioned Dr. Stroh, when I'm with him and I text, it's always win today. You are a champion. It's always positive. It's always get yourself a group of 4 or 5 friends that are heading in a direction that you are wanting to go and say, negative thoughts have no place in my mind. I'm going to be the greatest and the baddest son of a buck that I can be. Now, in saying that, with those 3 things, those are something that we all face. But the challenges and the obstacles that you're going to face are not external. They're internal. So I promise you this, if you start on the inside and you really work on those things, your life changes every time. You know, just like with me working with some young athletes that are needing to gain some weight right now. You know, I'm like, guys, this is not physics. This is not biochemistry. This is you're burning 4,000 calories and you're putting in 3,000 calories. It's the same way with what you're trying to accomplish with greatness. It's if you have procrastination and you write out a list of what you want to accomplish and you don't accomplish that list, you don't get your butt up and go to the gym. You don't eat the high amounts of protein. You're eating just pizza and drinking beer. It's not going to be a secret or mystery where you are headed if you track what you're doing on a daily basis. Guys, this starts internal. The problem external is because we're not fixing the internal. So I have a question for you. What are the doubts and fears that are holding you back? Determine what those are and address them. And I promise you, if you'll continue to address that fear and those doubts, your life will start to change. So in closing, I just got this simple thing that I'll share with you. And this is something that didn't come to me till my mid-30s. But once I really understood this, I had a whole new outlook on life, and that's this right here. Quit looking at others as the competition. The only person you need to beat is the person you were yesterday. The battle that you are in is a battle with self. See, when I understood that in my 30s, it was like a light come on because I would continuously look at others and I'm like, well, I'm doing this in sales, but they're doing that. Well, I look this way without my shirt on, but they look this way. Well, I have a nice house, but they have this nicer house. Well, I'm doing pretty decent, but they're doing above what I'm doing. And once I quit looking at what the other person was doing, and I put my head down and I got focused, and I realized that, you know what, the competition is not between me and them. The competition is within myself. And can I be better tomorrow than I was yesterday? The next day, can I be better the next day than I was the day before? And once I understood the battle that I was in, was not a battle and competition with someone else. It was all with self. And once I really understood that and I put my focus on being the best I can be on a daily basis, I had a little bit of success up until that point. But from that point on, it's just like a compounding interest. It was just like compounding. And a lot of it's not visible in a short term. But over and over, I watched it compound. My mental strength, my confidence, who I wanted to become. I changed some things. And I made a commitment and a promise to self that tomorrow I'm going to be better than the guy that I was yesterday. Thank you guys for choosing the Hard Truth Podcast. Share this with a friend or family. I'm glad that I was able to give you a life update. Life is busy, but I promise you, this podcast has gave me so much joy. Continue to give me feedback and support this if it's making a difference to you, in hopes that we can make a difference to a lot of other people that are looking for a way to choose greatness in their life.
Let's go.